Typing is extremely important in Pokemon. Whether it's strategizing what Pokemon you should use for the next battle, or just like how some types are objectively better than others. As we know, cool looking does not equal strong. Trust me, I would know. I'm a fan of Beedrill. For example, even though your favorite Pokemon is Escavalier, it wouldn't be okay at all to just use him in the champion fight against Leon against his Charizard, because you know Charizard is fire flying type. I just wanted to see if I could beat Pokemon with only one of each type, and if they die, they are gone forever and I can't pick a Pokemon for that type anymore. This challenge also involves no Dynamaxing, no potions in battle, and no easy switches after I kill a target. This might sound easy because I have 18 Pokemon to beat the entire game, but with every single death, we have less and less answers to certain Pokemon. Firstly, I named myself Mr. Type, and then I diddle on my Munchlax a little and leave the house. We go to see Leon at the train station. He does his little pose and everybody's cheering for him, and this dude's just like patting his beer belly. I don't know if that's supposed to like be cheering or something. But if we want to have a chance to beat this dude, we're gonna have to assemble a crazy team. But that's for later in the video. So I did what any normal person would do, and I picked Grookey. You would probably expect me to say a strategy or something on why I picked him, but I kind of just didn't want to be like another Joe and pick Cinderace. Grookey is our first Pokemon for the challenge, and he will be our grass type. And we have 17 more types left to choose. The next morning we have our first battle against Hop. We only have our one Grookey, but thankfully his Wooloo does a whole bunch of nothing, and his Sobble, being weak to our grassiness, falls to a couple of branch pokes. We tried battling this very familiar looking Pokemon. Then Leon taught us how to catch a Pokemon, and he gave us our very own balls. We fought a few kids and took their money. After all that, I finally found my second Pokemon, Blipbug. Just like any bug in their first stage, it really struggles, literally. But in later evolutions, he gets, well, it gets better, maybe. There aren't going to be many bug picks that would even make it late in this challenge because, well, they're bug types. But I wanted to give Blipbug a chance because I've never really used him in like any other time I played this game. We had another fight with Hop in the span of like the same 24 hours. He only has one extra Pokemon with him, Rookidee. Wooloo goes down easily again. We scratch his Rookidee next, but his Peck brings our Grookey down to half HP. We finish his Rookidee off, and then he finally brings out Sobble again. And again, Sobble falls to a couple of branch pokes. After that epic battle, Leon thinks he has seen enough and proudly endorses us with no bias at all. Like it literally took 30 minutes, and one Blipbug later, we were endorsed by the champion. Later we got our Dynamax bands, where we will not be using the entire run. On the way to the station, I found our third Pokemon, Zigzagoon. I think he'll be a great option, and honestly, I kind of just want to use Obstagoon. I think he's pretty sick. So he's going to be our one and only normal type. Me and Hop then headed to the station and got on the next train to the infamous wild area where tons of Pokemon would be waiting for me to throw my balls at them. But we won't be catching any more because we are going to head to Motostoke first. We head to Motostoke, and Leon meets up with us again and gives us a Miracle Seed item, which we can use to boost Grookey's grass moves. We're going to need a lot of strategy for our future held items for each Pokemon. We'll mainly probably use like leftovers since it's like versatile and like on like every Pokemon. But yeah. We then go to Motostoke Stadium for the opening ceremony of the Gym Challenge, where they introduce all the gym leaders we will have to face if we want to get to the champion. After the ceremony, I take Blipbug to his first drive-by so he can evolve into his second stage, Dottler. Dottler is a pretty tanky dude. He also turns our Blipbug from a bug type into a bug psychic type. With this new psychic type, our Dottler immediately learns Light Screen, Reflect, and Confusion. At the Wedgehurst station, we encounter a Galarian Slowbro. He is a psychic poison type, and at the time I thought this challenge would be pretty easy, so I did catch him for our poison type. Little did I know we won't even be able to evolve him till after the 6th gym. At the bridge heading to Route 3, Hop wants to fight us for the 3rd time. Hop has the exact same Pokemon as the last time, and stands no chance against our Grookey again. After fighting a random challenger on Route 3, our Grookey evolves into Thwackey. This upgrade to our team is nice to have against our opponent Bede. Yes, his. I know he looks like he's about to bake me some cookies or something, but his psychic type arsenal can be pretty deadly.
Thanks, Grandma.
Thwacky brings his Solus down to 3 HP, but it uses Endeavor and brings my Thwacky down to his level. So I switch to my Dottler and take a Confusion, and then I use Struggle Bug to take him out. He then brings out Hatena. We set up a light screen and exchange blows until we finally take it out. He then sends out his final Pokemon, Gothita. It uses Side Beam and it does basically nothing. We use Struggle Bug to knock its health down to a third, but we aren't out of the woods yet. After that turn, Gothita's competitive activates and it raises its special attack. Not only that, but our light screen wore off. Gothita's Side Beam just went from a light slash to a Category 5 Hurricane. We are so lucky our Dottler survived. We could have easily lost the dude already. Then, better late than never, we send out Zigzagoon, and Zigzagoon completely resists Gothita's Side Beam thanks to his secondary Dark typing. One might wonder why I didn't start out with him, and I would say I either forgot or I just wanted to edge my Pokemon. We finished Gothita with a Headbutt and finally defeat Bede. That was our closest battle yet, but it was kind of all my fault that it was that close. After leaving the cave, it's the gym leader's Wooloo, Milo. He's the upcoming gym leader with all of his grass types. Before we dominate him though, I wanted to go get a Corvisquire as my flying type to eventually have a Corviknight, because Corviknight is really, really good. So I went back to Route 3 because I remember there's one like perched up on this fence. I sent out Zigzagooner, which was my which was a way lower level, but I knew he could do it. We did finally catch him though, just a weaker level 5 version. And like that, Rookidee takes our flying type spot. After that, I was finally confident enough to take on our first gym leader. After chasing some Minecraft beds around, I finally made it to Milo. Milo has his 2 grass type Pokemon, Gossifleur and Eldegoss, which he Dynamaxes. Just a reminder, we cannot Dynamax ourselves. He sends out his Gossifleur, and I send out my one and only Dottler. Dottler uses a Bug Buzz to get Gossifleur down to 1. It uses Round, and it does a tiny bit of damage. However, my Dottler has leftovers, which heals for 1/16 of his max HP, which is like 3 HP for Dottler. It might not seem like a lot, but over time, especially since this guy's attacks do Jack Diddley, it actually helps a lot. Then he takes out his Eldegoss, which he immediately Dynamaxes. It uses Max Overgrowth, which does half of the normal damage to my bug type, and it doesn't take a crazy amount of health. But with all my healing, I got back up 6 hit points. After another Max Overgrowth, I used Leech Life to heal my HP back up to full. Dynamax Eldegoss has basically done nothing to my Dottler. Basically just a bunch of that, and we take down the first gym leader. So a quick recap, we have our Flying, Bug, Grass, Normal, and Poison types, and we just took down the first gym leader with a bunch to go. I do have one more Pokemon to catch on Route 4 though, and I caught myself an Eevee. I catch myself a little Eevee. I catch myself a little Eevee. I catch myself a little Eevee. After I caught it, my Zigzagoon evolved into a Lanoon. Now, as you know, there are 8 different ways an Eevee can evolve, and you probably couldn't guess which one I was going to choose. It's Jolteon. I don't really have a plan. I just really like Jolteon. After I got my Electric Bandit, I used him in a raid battle to get my next Pokemon, Riolu. I immediately took the little guy to camp and started touching him. The more he touches the tip of my feather, he gets older. Look, they grew up so fast. He made his first friend. Oh. The heartbreak caused him to evolve, and he turned into Lucario. We will be using him for our Steel type, since I feel like there are a lot of better fighting types we could use over Steel type. Our next challenger was Hop, but he surely has a new plan and some Pokemon to sweep us, right? Well, maybe not. We pull up to Hulberry next, where Nessa's gym challenge is waiting for us. We find Nessa is just standing by the water like some final boss or something. Someone should tell her she's only the second gym. Get through the water maze and get to the final boss. She sends out Goldeen, and we send out our Sparky. The Goldeen gets absolutely demolished by a Thunderbolt, and her Arrokuda also gets demolished. For her Dreadnought, I switch out to my Tingle Bingle. My strategy, since Dreadnought is a rock-water type, Lucario is double resistant to rock, but I didn't account for water typing at all, so I was basically just hoping that it goes for a rock type move and not a water move. Normal type move is pretty good. Now we just need one more non-water type move. Bring out Dronky to avenge our fallen Tingle. Dreadnought dies in 2 Razor Leaves. got away with that one, but if we are losing a Pokemon to the second gym, then we're gonna have a rough time brewing. After losing my first Pokemon, I head back to Route 3 in the cave leading to Route 4. I tried catching up to this Carkol, but it didn't work. I had to go back in and immediately hop on my bike to catch up to him. I then shook his bones and caught him. I'll be using this ugly son of a gun as my fire type. I faced Beat again, but instead of like risking my entire team's life, I just used Lanoon to completely demolish her. The next gym challenge is the fire type leader. The reason I got Carkol for this leader is because fire resists fire, but with Carkol's secondary rock typing, he can do massive damage.
What?
He can do massive damage. Also, rock moves will be quite effective to his ace, Scorch. His Ninetales starts out with a fire spin, which does diddly, so we hit it with 2 ancient powers to take it out. Do the same thing with his poor dog. So now he's just down to his Gigantamax Scorch. Carkol is faster than it for some reason, so we use ancient power early, and it brings it down to half. Carkol tanks a max Butterfree, and I try to take him down with an Incinerate, but I forgot that fire moves just boost his ego or something, so I just risked Carkol's life for nothing. I swapped to Corvisquire to finish him off with a Pluck, and we get our 3rd gym badge. We still have only lost 1 Pokemon, our Steel type. Does anyone else wonder how Hop actually wins these battles against these gym leaders sometime, when he is the worst team I have ever seen put together? The next course of action was to evolve another Eevee, into a Sylveon this time, for our pure Fairy type. I feel like Sylveon is one of the best for this role, and hopefully it won't die as quickly as Tingle Bingle. I also traded and got my fighting type in Machamp. It's kind of basic to pick Machamp, but he's one of the best, so stick with him. We went back to the caves for the last time to catch ourselves a Drillbur and evolve it into an Excadrill. Excadrill will be our ground type. Before the 4th gym, we fight Hop again, and he's a brand new team this time, but it is full of little babies. It wasn't really hard like all the other battles. Before the gym though, we can evolve Carkol and the Colossal and Dottler into Orbeetle. Now we are ready to take on Alistair, the ghost type leader. Our Zigzagoon one-shots his Yamask. I'm starting out with Zigzagoon since, you know, ghost types can't affect him since he is normal type. Mimikyu is next and we use a Night Slash to destroy its disguise and then Iron Tail to take it out. We hit Cursola with a Night Slash to bring it down to half. It dodges our Iron Tail and curses our Zigzagoon, but then we just use an Iron Tail to take it out. Next for the Gengar. Since our Zigzagoon is cursed, we have to swap out into Excadrill. Alistair then Gigantamaxes his Gengar and tries to use Max Ooze, but it doesn't affect Excadrill. He uses the G-Max Terror and almost kills our Excadrill, and it makes it to where we can't swap out. So it's either this attack one-shots Gengar, or we lose our Excadrill. So we use Dig, dodge its next attack, and boom! We one-shot the Gengar. We were very lucky we got out of this badge with 0 deaths. We didn't want another Tingle Bingle situation. We immediately go on to our next gym, the Old Fairy Lady. This fight was extremely easy actually. Excadrill just drilled everyone, even though he didn't one-shot anyone, but the Gigantamax. All of the attacks just tickled him and fueled his rage basically. After that, our starter Pokemon finally evolved into Rillaboom, and our Corvisquire also evolved into Corviknight, which will actually be very, very useful in the late game. Finally, our Lanoon evolved into Obstagoon. This guy is going to the big leagues, I swear. Again, this dude's standing at the end of the bridge acting like he's some sort of evil villain. This guy. I use our new Obstagoon and use Obstruct to lower Trevenant's defense, then one simple Night Slash takes him out. I switch to Colossal for his Heatmore and I get whipped, but it does very little damage. Just one ancient power takes out Heatmore. We swapped into our Rillaboom for his Inteleon and one-shot it with Drum Beating. For the Snorlax, we took out our Machamp for the first time. And after him squishing him, we hit him with a Revenge and got him low. He sat on us again, so we revenged him again. Then his Bolton was just hella annoying and just kept roaring everyone out. And he was just faster than all of them, so I literally had to wait until he ran out of PP. After he ran out, 2 Night Slashes finished him. I went on a fishing trip to relax and caught and evolved an Arrokuda into a Barraskewda. He will be our water type and useful for the next gym. Or so I thought. Our next gym is the Ice Lady herself. Now, unlike all the other battles where I just spam super effective moves, I actually tried to have some sort of strategy for this one. So I sent out Orbeetle to set up a light screen first play. What I didn't remember is that Orbeetle is part Psychic and bugs are super effective against Psychic. So our Orbeetle only got one move off in his final form before getting taken out and sent off with Tingle Bingle. I'm not surprised our bug didn't make it this far, but it was kind of my fault. We one-shot the Frostmoth with a flamethrower from our Colossal, Colosso also takes down the Darmanitan, and same for the Askew. Now my plan for Gigantamax Lapras was to send out Barraskewda. Since he resists both ice and water types, I didn't think he would take much damage from them. Well, I was wrong. One Max Geyser took more than half of our health away. But I knew Barraskewda was faster, so I took the risk and tried to one-shot it with close combat, and... Alright, dude, what? I just got this guy. Machamp got half of his health taken away, but got a revenge off to take Lapras down to one-shot territory. Lapras Gigantamax ran out, so I decided to stick it out with Machamp and see. Jolteon comes in and finishes off, but at what cost? We lost 3 Pokemon in that battle. Our Bug, Water, and Fighting type. Now we're only down to 14 types left in total. After the gym, we have to fight Hop again, but he's been easy pickings every time, so I'm just going to skip. I kind of forgot just because electric is super effective against water doesn't mean electric is resistant to it. That is the only Pokemon we lost in the battle, however, but we should not have lost one to Hop, out of all people. My team was really feeling these devastating losses, so my Pokemon won't feel like they're on the choppy block. I played with them a little. Then I did something that was long overdue. I went and got the Galarica Cuff so I can evolve my Slowpoke, so he is actually somewhat useful for the team now. Before I could battle the 7th gym though, I have to fight Marnie, which my Sylveon could burn through most of them if she just stays alive. I do not know why our Sylveon toughed it out for us though. Our Corviknight got some playing time and drill pegged Toxicroak, and that was the only thing standing in our way of the 7th gym badge. We go against Piers, the dark type leader, and luckily he does not Dynamax, so this is a huge advantage for us. We one-shot his Scrafty with a Kiss, and then we swapped out to Obstagoon for his Malamar and one-shot it with X-Scissor. Then it is Obstagoon v Obstagoon. The first like 4 or 5 turns we were just obstructing back and forth, and on one turn I finally hit him with an X-Scissor, but it didn't really do a lot. Then his Obstagoon used a Throat Chop, but mine dodged because he loves me. I knew touching his balls would come in handy. We switched to Colossal and Body Slam him, but then get immediately slaughtered, so we switch back into Sylveon. One Dazzling Gleam takes care of Obstagoon. His last one is Skunk Tank, but we have to be careful because of his Stinky Diarrhea Explosion passive move. Our Excadrill takes a huge blow, but then blows him back. Okay. I switch to Corviknight and use a Steel Wing to bring him down to 1. He uses Sucker Punch and gets my bird low. As my Corviknight finishes him off, I just hope the Aftermath doesn't kill him. So close! I'm very thankful this guy does not Dynamax. To prepare for our next challenge, I went and caught a Snover and evolved him into a Abomasnow. The final badge we need is the Dragon Badge from Raihan. Who is Raihan, you ask? He is the last badge we need, and he's the Dragon Gym Leader, of course. And he specializes in double battles, so it either gets really hard for our team, or easier. Probably harder. He starts off with his Flygon and his Gigalith, which is a dragon by the way. We send out our new Abomasnow, since the Flygon is 4 times weak to ice, and our Rillaboom is for the Gigalith. The Flygon hit both of us, and we hit both Gigalith and Flygon and got them low. Flygon hits us again, but we strike back with an Icy Wind and take him out. I did a stupid substitution play with Rillaboom instead of just taking out Gigalith since I had priority anyway, and it cost me my new Abomasnow. My god! After a long time thinking, I brought in Sylveon. After that, I finally finished the infamous dragon Gigalith. I gave Sandaconda a smooch and drained him a little. I switched out Rillaboom for Excadrill and prepare for Raihan to Gigantamax his Duraludon. His Sandaconda uses Protect sadly, and I have to watch our Sylveon get crushed. I used Dazzling Gleam, which would have hit both of them if Sandaconda didn't use Protect. I swapped Sylveon with Obstagoon, then got hit with a Max Knuckle on my Excadrill, which got him really low. He got his get back, however, and we finished the Gigantamax Eiffel Tower with a high horsepower. Now we just had this fat bum to deal with. He used Glare and paralyzed both of them, but I went for a Horn Drill to finish him, but he ended up avoiding it. Instead of switching, I went for the kill, and it cost me. Excadrill went down. I had to bring Colossal out, and I didn't want to because he is very weak to Sandaconda. Thankfully, Colossal barely survived a hit and railed him back. We beat Right Hand, but we lost 2 more. Me and Hop took the train. Yeah, apparently he beat Right Hand too somehow. After getting off the train, I took a look at the city and realized I'm not ready for this. I need to get a better squad. The first thing I did was catch a Skorupi, which I evolved into a Drapion. He's a poison dark type, and since we already have... oh god. And then I caught a Doublade and evolved him into an Aegislash. Aegislash is just so cool looking. But he's also extremely good in a ton of ways, with his insanely high defense stat, and him swapping to a high attack stat when he attacks is insanely versatile, and overall just a really good Pokemon to have in like any run ever. We'll be using him as our ghost type. Also went ahead and caught a Dracloak, but we won't be using him yet due to him being a really high level. For our psychic type, I went back and forth, but I eventually decided to just get Gardevoir. I spent the next few hours, grinding watts and having some new movesets for each of my Pokemon for this next battle. Because if we want to win, we're going to need some actual strategy. After a lot of stalling, I finally go into the stadium and enter my first battle against Marnie. It's basically the same squad she had before, except she has a whole stadium to Gigantamax Grimmsnarl now. Little does Marnie know, I have a foolproof plan to sweep her entire team. Since Marnie's whole team is just full of dark types, I'll be using Bulk Up on my Corviknight and destroying everyone. At least I hope so. We will see, I guess. Every like gives our Corviknight a better chance of making it through. Ding! Her cat just uses Nasty Plot to bulk up herself, so it's just a battle of the bulk, basically. After the second bulk up, I decided to just finish her off. She uses Nasty Plot instead of attacking, so I absolutely demolish her ass. She sends out more Pico next, then I just bulk up one more time to try to go in. And then I try to go in, but it uses Spark and paralyzes us. Corviknight is not making it out of this one. I try to just push through, but apparently Corviknight doesn't think we, Ash, and Pikachu, and he still isn't moving and like locking in for me. I push through again and again, and thankfully he actually hits Morpeko this time. This is still looking grim, because Morpeko got 2 extra sparks off that it shouldn't have, and that is just ruining our Corviknight's chances. Also, I don't know why, but the capture card was straight getting teeth or something, because I was glitching out these last battles. A Body Slam took out the next one with minimal injuries, and then Toxicroak, which is not actually a dark type. He is poison and fighting, so our Body Slam is not very effective against him, but I've come prepared. Bro, I got him on the next go around though. Now this is where things get grim. Our Corviknight will not be able to survive anything Grimmsnarl will do to us. So I switched to Aegislash to see if he can stall and tank a few hits. And tanking one move is good enough, I guess. Oh shoot, I forgot about the leftovers. That's so clutch. Drapion has the best chance against this thing. The Gmax Snoove actually only scratches him. Just not to risk anything, I switched out back to Sylveon, and I barely survived again. At this point, I was down to the Dumb and Dumber in terms of matchups, so the only option I had was to try to see if my Poison Jab would one-shot him. Uh-oh. Grimmsnarl now decides to bulk up, so I chop him while bricked, and uh-oh. Luckily, Grimmsnarl bulked up again for some reason, and we actually took him out this time. But honestly, losing just one isn't too bad, I guess. I mean, this is the end times we were in, but we lost our dark type. So we are now down to our flying, fairy, ghost, normal, psychic, grass, dragon, fire, poison. Oh god, our poison is so chopped. And our future rock type. We still have about 8 main battles left, so we're gonna have to lock in. Our next battle is Hop, our arch nemesis. Hop sends out his double, of course, and I send out my Obstagoon. It's the battle of the aces, but in this case it's like coughing baby versus atomic bomb. I use Obstruct to lower the double's defense and take it out with a Brick Break. Next is his fatty Snorlax. I use Obstruct again and use Brick Break again. Hop also used a full restore on this dude for some reason. Also tried using Brick Break again on the next thing, but it didn't really do much. Night Slash almost took it out, but it barely survived. Next is his Corviknight, which we don't have any moves that are super effective against it, but that was weird. But since me and my Obstagoon have undeniable chemistry, he hits a critical hit for me. I use Obstruct to lower his defense, so one more Night Slash will take him out. His last Pokemon, Inteleon, the same little dude at the beginning that I chose Rillaboom over. But now he's all like zesty and stuff. I used Obstruct, which made his Dynamax move do minimal damage. And then I went for a Night Slash this turn, so I had to take a Quake. But my Night Slash barely did anything either. If you didn't know, every time you successfully use Obstruct, its chances of succeeding goes down like a lot. So the fact that we have used it a lot means our chances of it succeeding is pretty low. But I did it anyway. Since he's out of Dynamax, I was going to go for a Night Slash here. But I have to take a risk that he wouldn't kill me since Inteleon speed is like absolutely crazy. I beat the rival again on the biggest stage, so hopefully he can just accept that I'm better now. After the two prodigies down, we go back to fight the old heads now. We try to go find Leon and we run into this angry lady. Our fight was extremely easy though. I mean you can slow it down if you want, but it was basically the same fight as Marnie's team in terms of strategy. We then find Leon talking with Rose, and Rose talking about how we need to protect Galar's future by blowing up the present. Basically, Leon just says that he's a stupid idiot. We go back into the tournament to take on Bede. Everything was going smooth until our Gigantamax Pokemon. Max Mindstorm barely does anything, and we heal a little with our leftovers. I then went in for King Shield, which is basically just Obstruct, but for Aegislash, but with a different side effect. King Shield lowers attack instead of defense, which doesn't really do a lot here since we're not getting hit with normal attacks here. He tanks the hit, so I go in for another King Shield, but what do you know, it fails. That was really unlucky, and of course he didn't survive to show off his true potential. All of that morning and just one little Ironhead took it out. We have 5 more battles to go before we can face Leon, and we have 9 Pokemon left. Some of these battles we're going to have to beat flawlessly, so that's what I plan to do in the rematch against Nessa. One Brave Bird makes Golisopod use his emergency exit. Then against her, wait a second. We use a U-turn to deal some damage and get out of there and get Rillaboom to deal with him. We one-shot her Seaking, then her Golisopod came back out. We have to be very careful because Golisopod's first impression move can absolutely destroy us. However, we hit him and he leaves again. We take out her bird and her Golisopod comes back in. Good thing Rillaboom brought protection and we blocked his first impression and took him out with a drum beating. Then her Gigantamax Dreadnought, which just looks like a freaking dog with a cone on its head, also gets taken out with one drum beating. Next, we rematch Alistair, the ghost type gym leader, which we completely demolished last time, but we don't have Excadrill anymore, so we're gonna have to get a little creative on this one. Also, what is this? Nods back and understanding, like, this is not tough.
Rid of all the accounts that
we take out Dusknoir with a pair of Night Slashes, and then we use Obstruct to block its attack. We then swap out to Colossal, which Will-O-Wisp doesn't affect him. We get hit with a meaty Shadow Ball and then set up Stealth Rock. We get hit with a Shadow Ball that's even meatier than the last one for some reason. We try to take it out with Rock Blast, but we were unlucky with only hitting it twice. We switch to our Corviknight, who immediately gets railed with Fire. We use Brave Bird to take it out. We get Obstagoon back in to take care of the Teacup. He does the same to the Coral. And now it's time for the Gengar again. Last time we just one-shot him with Excadrill, but I have a feeling we won't get so lucky this time. I Obstruct to protect Obstagoon from Gengar's purple goo, and the Night Slash gets him really low, but now we have to tank a gooey surprise from Gengar. After that, all we have to use is one more Night Slash, and after that match, the tournament has come to me rematching Raihan to see who will go up against Leon. I can rematch Raihan without losing another Pokemon, right? Well, I might be able to. That double battle really messed me up last time, but now it's just a single. Our Colossal sets up a Stealth Rock to start off the match, and then we use Rock Slide and get a clutch flinch, so we finish him off without taking any more damage. For Flygon, I switch to Gym Drainer, which in Earthquake does pretty good damage, but if Sylveon is good at anything, it's at draining. We drain Flygon and almost finish him while healing ourselves all the way back up. He Earthquakes again and we drain again, but we don't gain a lot of health back since he was already low. For his Turtonator, he just kept putting shell traps, but they didn't work, so I just kept using my special draining attack. I got bored after a little while, so I used Dig, but then I forgot that his shell trap would work on me since I used Dig. I finish him off with a Kiss, but my health is still lower than it should have been. That's what I would say if Goodra wasn't the same story, but we just ended up draining him too. Now his Gigantamax Eiffel Tower again. I use it to protect the tank a hit. I guess I thought I was faster for some reason because I went for a move instead of another protect. Since Corviknight wouldn't really do much against him, I let him tank a hit. I U-turn to Rillaboom and get body pressed but do big damage with a Bulldoze. It makes his speed fall. After that, I knew we were faster than him now because we both have a speed of 85, and with that debuff, I can safely go for another dual Bulldoze and take him out. We beat Raihan again and won the tournament. So now we can battle Leon, the moment we've all been waiting for. Seriously, bro? We made up to fight Rose, so he will stop causing a ruckus, so he can finally let me fight Leon to get this challenge over with. Rose has a full steel team, so our MVP is going to be Colossal. Colossal makes very quick work of his first 4 Pokemon. His Gigantamax is a very stupid looking elephant. I started off with a dig to finish it off. Oh no. All of that just to die to this thing. I used an Obstruct to tank its last Gmax move. After turning back into a baby, one cross chop finishes off. After that, we figure out that Eternatus is actually here. They try to make Leon look like really tough by being like, guys, I got this. I am the champion after all. But he ends up just like throwing a normal Pokeball at Eternatus. Like, bro, who thought that would work? After that, I actually get to fight Eternatus, and Slowbro, out of all people, take him out in 2 hits, so I'm kind of confused. But apparently he just wasn't locked in, and he turned into his final form, the Hand. We summoned the 2 legendary wolves to help us fight. I really didn't want to lose any Pokemon here, so I just sat back watching and using Protect most of the time. But then, after all that, after everyone has been dogging on him but me, he randomly goes for me and obliterates my Obstagoon. Obstagoon will be avenged, and we will beat Leon in his memory. I casually catch Eternatus and get back to business. We had 1 more battle and 6 more Pokemon left, a full team. We have Corviknight, Slowbro, Gardevoir, Rillaboom, Dragapult, and our new rock type Tyranitar. Also named him Leon Hater. Now it's time for the Leon. My strategy is simple. Down goes the crown. Leon Hater starts off with an Earthquake to get pretty good Dude, hi! Rillaboom finishes the job with a Bulldoze but almost gets flattened by Cinderace. Thankfully, we got 2 Bulldozes off to finish him too. His Dragapult burns our monkey to a crisp, but gets railed by his own kids. Awesome. I wish we had Dragapult this whole time because he is really powerful. Taking out the Haxorus in 1 hit too. I use U-turn to quickly get out of there and swap to Corviknight. His Seismitoad tries using Earthquake, but it doesn't affect our future Taxi. I use Iron Head solely for the flinch chance, and we actually get it. And I then use Brave Bird, and dude, I use 2 more Brave Birds, and we finish Seismitoad. Now it is down to just his Gigantamax Charizard, and we have 4 Pokemon left. So we should have this. Our Corviknight goes down to his first Gmax move. We bring out Gardevoir. A Gmax Rockfall does like 1/3 of our health, but I accept our fate next turn and go down some gigantic mushrooms. I switch to Slowbro, who quite literally hasn't done jack diddly until about 1 fight ago. A Fire Blast brings us down to half, but a Scald from Slowbro melts the Charizard and leaves him on 1 HP. Then, in true Slowbro fashion, he doesn't even kill Charizard himself. The Sandstorm that he didn't even create does. Just like that, we've beat the champion with only 18 Pokemon, 1 chosen for each type. Our last 2 survivors are Slowbro and Dragapult. What a duo. I really miss Obstagoon though. I really miss playing with him. But anyway, I beat Shield with 1 of each type. Some died immediately and some lasted all the way till the very end. All I know is all of the deaths that we had were most definitely unavoidable. Rome wasn't built in a day, or whatever. Hey, fine, dude, I'll address you. Look, it's only been like almost 3 months. But trust me, I'll make it up. There's gonna be a new video in 2 days, and a new video 2 days after that. I promise.